The next thing we're going to talk about are the NBA anti-tanking rules. So we'll go rule by rule.
Yeah.
So the first one we are going to talk about. Let me go ahead and pull them up. First round draft picks can only be protected top 4 to top 14 plus. I love that rule. It kind of leaves a little wiggle room because 5 to 14 is a big window. So you can't completely tank because if either you have to commit to a tank or be competitive, because a lot of those teams that get those 5 to 14 picks, unfortunately, were not the worst of the worst tankers. What do you think about that new rule?
I like that new rule. I think, like you said, either you're going to commit from the jump you're tanking, like the Indiana Pacers, like they knew from the tip off from game one, it's not the year for them. You know what I mean? The Sacramento Kings is up there too. And they're like,
You can't say we're tanking, bro. We just suck.
Commit. Let's just commit, because I feel like some teams they don't actively try to tank at the beginning of the season, but they notice the season's not going their direction, and then they want to tank, right? And that's what I don't like. So I think that means more teams, like you said, have to be competitive. I think that means only 4 teams, so probably 2 teams from each division or each conference have to tank, and that'll make it interesting. I wonder who's thinking next year when these rules are applied, who's not going to tank. Obviously, there's teams who are obviously trying to get these top picks in the 2026 draft, and they won't be tanking anymore. Like, I think the Utah Jazz, this is probably it for them.
Oh, yeah.
But there's other teams who continually tank. So, be interesting.
Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. I just want everybody to know, when we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, this was literally my idea. I said, pick a date on the calendar, don't tell nobody, and say, this is when the odds are frozen. If they do it at the trade deadline, everyone's going to know, so it's really no surprise. But I feel like if they did it on a random Tuesday after the trade deadline, it would make it a lot different, because at that point, the odds are already stuck. The Jazz example, perfect example. There's no reason to pull your guys in the fourth quarter. We're stuck into what we're into. At this point, let's go win games. We're not going to make the playoffs, but we can't do anything to improve our draft stock. So let's continue to just go out there and play. What do you think about this rule?
I don't love this rule because I think there are teams who, and this doesn't happen often, but I always remind myself of the Boston Celtics during that one run a few years back where they were like maybe mid 500. And I'm not saying they were tanking or anything like that, but they were really trying to improve. And I think they went from like the 7th seed all the way to like the 2nd seed in the East or something like that year. And so like you're making all this progress, and now it doesn't matter about drafts for the Boston Celtics. Like you said earlier, Joe Mazzulla and the boys, even 4 years back, they don't tank, right? But I also feel like, I don't know, maybe the momentum stops and then you can't, I don't know. I'm not feeling that one as much as the top 4 protected option. And I don't also know if they're going to do all of these options. Like, is it only going to be like 1 or 2? Because I think if you're going to do all of them, I think that's kind of a lot.
I mean, you have to, because I mean, we'll get into the other ones later, because I mean, some of them affect winning teams, some of them affect losing teams. So we'll definitely get into them, and I would love to see kind of how many they interput into next season. The next one, the one that I think is the worst, no longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 consecutive years or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. If this rule was a thing, we were just talking about the Pistons. The Pistons are a thing. The Wizards aren't a thing. The Spurs, we're going to talk about them later. They are not a team if this rule is, because they got Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper. So teams are – you're punishing teams for being bad. And unless you're drafting a generational player, a 2-year turnaround isn't going to be enough time. So now we're being punished for being bad. This is why I give so much shit to the Jazz, because now bad teams are just being punished for being bad. And it's horrible, and it's going to really ruin the game, because now what happens when the bottom guys are the bottom guys for 2 years? who do their picks go? They're automatically stuck out of a top 4 pick. Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, Ron Harper, Asar Thompson, like most of their team are top 5 picks. And now we're not going to see those teams anymore. So I think this is probably the stupidest rule because you're punishing teams for being bad. And I get it. Kevin, teams tank that aren't bad. Utah Jazz, Pacers, I get it. But teams like the Kings and the Nets and the Wizards are just bad teams. So now they're being punished because for back-to-back years, you can't pick in top 4. And I'm not saying there's not going to be deep classes where that 5th pick is just as valuable as that 1st pick, but it's like a lot of teams don't draft right.
Okay. I like it. And the reason why I like it is I don't see it as a punishing teams that don't do well, but it's we'll get it together then type of thing. Like it's a safety net. Like if you finish at the bottom 3, damn, okay. Damn, you do it again? Okay, here you go. Damn, a 3rd time? This is it though. Like you got to get your crap together. I like that idea. Now, I know you don't watch soccer or football, the world calls it, but I love football. And I watch the Premier League a lot in England. And one thing I really like about their kind of tier football leagues, because there's a bunch of leagues, is that the bottom 3 teams in the Premier League, which is at the top of the top, right? Like the NBA equivalent. The bottom 3 teams, so if you're the 3 worst teams in the league, you automatically get relegated to like the 2nd tier league. I like that because and then if you finish the top 3 in that 2nd tier, you move up. Now, those teams are going to be interchangeable probably all the time because other things, and we're not going to get into all the nitty gritty. However, I like the rewarding teams that do well. And if you don't do well, you need to get your act together, right? AKA the Sacramento Kings. We have been taking for a very long time.
That's crazy though, because we haven't.
We don't draft well. We don't do that.
We don't do that.
Right? Well. And we don't have a good management. We don't have a good system. And so that is what it is. But my thing is like, I don't want teams to be tanking and being bad all the time. Like, I don't feel like teams should be like the Sacramento King fans who know their team is probably not going to make it to the playoffs that much. And if they do, then the games are going to be $700 for nosebleeds. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Do you look at the Pacers and the Jazz the same way you do the Wizards and the Kings? Like the tanking. Do you look at them the same?
I mean, tanking is tanking, but
it's different when you bench players. The Kings play everybody every night, and we still lose. Like the Nets are playing everybody, and they're just not a good team. So why are the teams that aren't good being punished? It's because of the teams like the Pacers, because of teams like the Jazz. You have great players. They were up 15 one game and pulled their starters. That's a purposeful tank. Like, this is the most loser of loser ways to look at it. We just suck, and we're tanking because we suck. They're tanking because they want a good pick. Or they're tanking because the Jazz have a top 8 protected pick. The Wizards have a top protected pick. So they're tanking on purpose. Teams that just aren't good, that are playing their guys 28 and 30 minutes a night, and they're just not winning games. Like, this is a legit not tank. We're playing our starters X amount of minutes because we were trying to win. We're just outmatched. So why can we not pick in the top 4 next year if our team's still bad?
But my thing is, I can't tell if the team's ethically tanking or not. I think tanking is tanking. If you're looking at it from a broader view, right? If you're like management and things like that, like tanking is tanking. I don't know how I can punish the teams who are unethically tanking, but the teams that are ethically tanking, I could give them something. You know, I could reward them because they're doing it right. You're still losing.
Yeah, but we're not pulling, guys. If we just played the Stockton Kings for 82 games, yes, I'm all in. This is horrible for basketball. The Utah Jazz were literally up 15 points versus the Miami Heat. Said Jaren Jackson, Keontae George, Lloyd Markkanen, come here.
And you know what? They still won that game. They still won that game.
They didn't want to, obviously.
They did not want to.
But I'm saying, like, they're purposely tanking. The Kings are playing DeMar DeRozan. We're playing Zach LaVine. We're playing Russ. We're just not winning games. So why are we being punished next year? I mean, obviously next year it won't play into effect, but if we're not good for the next 3 years, how are we supposed to build something?
Because my thing is, at the end of the day, we do not want to reward losers. We want every team to win. And
then why do we have the draft if we don't want to reward losers, Alex? That's what the draft is for. Losers. Is it not? That's what we have the draft. The draft was invented for.
It's not.
The draft was invented for teams at the bottom to contend. For a team like the Mavericks to get a Cooper Flag. A team like the Cleveland Cavaliers to get a LeBron James. Chicago Bulls get Derrick Rose.
Look at the Kings. You can't always get at least. The Kings have at least had top 7 in the last 10, 15 years in every single draft.
I agree with you. You also got a hit on the pitch. I get that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So we can't keep rewarding the Sacramento Kings for just not drafting well. Like, I can't. If I'm like Adam Silver, I just can't do that. That's ridiculous.
But don't you think that's ruining your product if the bad teams are always bad?
Am I ruining the product if there's only the Sacramento Kings and the Washington Wizards who really suck?
I mean, the Nets, the Pacers. I mean, there's a lot of teams at the bottom.
The Nets have a bigger market, so they'll do it. It's the teams that suck and have small markets, like the Hornets. Now, the Hornets, now their picks are finally, developing and things like that, and things are clicking for them. But that's not usually the case. I mean, look at the Pelicans and Zion Williamson. But we won't get there. But anyway, I just feel like you can't keep rewarding teams that have just been sucking so long. And maybe not 3. Maybe if you finish in the bottom, maybe 4. I'll give you some leeway, some grace. But that grace has to end at some point. Like, you gotta pick yourself. This is America. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You know what I mean?
The land of dreams, huh? Well, they're killing the dreams. Moving on. Teams cannot pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals, aka the Pacers. Look, Shaun and the Sacramento fans are not going to like what I'm going to say. Halliburton's not that fucking good. For you to go from the finals to a lottery team without him, he's not fucking LeBron James. He's not Luka. He's not Wemby. He's not Joel. You cannot look me in my face and say he has that much impact on winning.
He has that much impact on the Pacers winning. Yes, Kevin. Yes.
From them to
the
bottom.
The drop is crazy. But did I think they would be top 6 in the East? No.
You doesn't make the play-in.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is understandable. Like that margin of wins. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton accounts for that.
You're not far from the bottom. If they're in the 9th seed, all the way to the
15th,
maybe. I don't really watch the
Tyrese Halliburton doesn't contribute that much. I get it. Pascal Siakam's missed the last 7 games for personal reasons. I'm just saying, this is another reason of a blatant tank that is ruining it for all the bad teams. Because what team in the world goes from the conference finals to the lottery?
I mean, when you lose your star player in game 7,
he was literally voted the most overrated player. The NBA don't think he's that good.
And, but no one thinks he's overrated after his 2025 playoff run anyway.
But no one thinks he's Luka Doncic.
Wait, what about Luka?
No one thinks he's Luka. No one thinks he's SGA.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not Ant. He's not Luka. He's not Shea. He's not none of them. He's just
so you're going from the 5 to 14. That's how big of a gap he is. That's what they're telling. That's what they're trying to tell us. Because without him,
well, you're also missing the tall guy. That's in the Bucks now. Miles Turner.
Oh my gosh, Miles Turner.
I understand he wasn't like that. I mean, he was a big impact, but not that big. But still, I understand.
They tanked on purpose, bro. They tanked on purpose.
I understand they tanked on purpose, but at least they're only taking 1 year.
But still,
I don't think it's bad if you take 1 year. And
But this
especially
rule is ridiculous because they might as well have just said the Indiana Pacers rule.
true.
No one's going to go from the conference finals to the lottery.
Well,
no
if
one.
a star player tears his Achilles in Game 7 of NBA Finals, maybe that
Jason Tatum towards Achilles. Are the Celtics at the bottom?
Well, they have another star player in Jaylen Brown.
Damn, so do they. Pascal Siakam was an all-star. I'm just saying.
I understand.
Tyrese Halliburton is a damn good basketball player. He's not 5 to 15 guy. He's not that great.
Wow.
Okay. This is a blatant tank, and this is a big guy trying to be a little guy, and now because of that, they're ruining it for the little guy. Next one. Lottery odds will be allocated based on 2-year records. I love this because teams that are just bad, it accumulates both of your year's records. Mm-hmm. So I think that should be great. I think that should be a great addition to the NBA. You agree, I'm assuming, so we can move on. This one I hate. Lottery extends to include all playing teams. This is stupid. Because if you're a playing team, but I get it, the worst place to be is in the middle of the pack. You're not good enough to win, and you're not bad enough to lose. But now you're telling me a team like the Bulls, the Heat, the Hornets, not the Hornets, not a playing team. All these middle of the gap teams now get an opportunity to get a top pick. But you're already good. You're not bad, and you're not good. But you're in the gray, so it's rewarding mediocrity. So we're going to reward mediocrity. Why can't we reward the bottom?
No, I agree. I don't like this. This is probably the one I don't like out of all of them. Because I'm looking specifically at the West. Like the Lakers could get the 7th seed. And you're telling me they could potentially get a number 1 draft pick? Like, not to say it's like a good thing for the Lakers or anything like that. But like you said, you're rewarding mediocrity just because you're in the middle of the pack. I think this benefits the West more than the East. Because that West is insane at the moment. But I mean, like, hey, maybe the Clippers could get a number 1 draft pick. And someone can help out Kawhi if he stays. Yeah.
Last one. Every team in the lottery has the same percentage to get the number 1 pick. I hate this. They flatten out all the odds. So everyone has the same percentage to get number 1. What the fuck are we playing for? You're telling me the Heat have the same percentage as the Pacers and the Kings to get the number 1 pick? They're a playing team. We're rewarding mediocrity while kicking the little guy while they're down. We have to choose a side. Either we're going to kick the little guys or we're going to kick the middle guys. We can't do both.
Are you flattening the lottery odds for just the teams who didn't make it into the play-in or play-in as well?
Well, with this rule, the play-in teams as well, because they would now be considered the lottery.
If it's the play-in teams as well, I don't like that. I mean, I do like the flattening of the odds, but then again,
I mean, let's be real. The NBA draft is fucking rigged.
It doesn't. Yeah, let's be honest. It is rigged because
the NBA draft is rigged. I think all
probably have so many balls in that little thingy.
This would all be prevented if they did that shit live. They went out there and said, all right, guys, let's pull the ball. There's no question everyone in the world gets to see. The Bulls had the least amount percentage to get the number 1 pick. Derrick Rose. LeBron goes to Cleveland. Victor goes to the Spurs. There's a lot of times we can say, I don't know. But it's going to be very interesting. I just hate that we're kicking the little guy down.
I mean, but the little guy sucks. And and this is a big boy league. This is a big
But the middle
league.
guys don't suck.
Well, they need to get better.
But they're going to be looked at just like the Kings.
But you know what's actually going to be really interesting about these anti-tanking rules is how like these bigger stars are going to be moving in like free agency or trades or anything like that. Because I feel like people don't want to give up those picks anymore. Or maybe they will be more like, I don't know. Because I'm thinking of like Giannis, right? If they keep him, if they don't, I don't know what they're going to do. But like if this anti-tanking rules happen now and Giannis wanted to leave in free agency, I don't know. I just think it's interesting.